Today I spent 4 hours in the emergency room and unfortunately left with no answers. I consider myself to have a pretty high pain tolerance, especially after having 2 kids, nearly having a stroke of preeclampsia after the first one, having a spinal headache. I haven't been to the doctor in probably like 2 years, so like me going to the ER was not my first stop. It's not where I wanted to be. I went to regular doctor and urgent care first, and they kind of told me like, well, we've done all we can do, so we'll send you to the ER so they can do more testing. So did not want to go there, but ended up there. For like last month or so, I've been dealing with like feeling like I just need to go to the bathroom constantly. Like I would go and be like, man, gotta go again, like kind of thing, and not necessarily like the most comfortable like gut feeling. I kept feeling like I was dealing with like cramps almost. I don't know, but discomfort, and it got really bad over Christmas. And finally, I'm like, you know what? I need to like figure out what's going on. So the day after Christmas, I'm like, I'm gonna go to the urgent care, see if we can do something like a sample or some kind of testing and like figure out, do I have a kidney stone? Because 10 years ago I had quite the kidney stone. When I was 19, I had similar pains in a similar situation that lasted me pretty much I think like September, August, all the way until February, because nobody could figure out what was wrong with me. Like I went to regular doctor and they ran a bunch of tests, took samples, blood samples, urine samples, all that fun stuff. I had x-rays, I had CT scans, I had over the belly ultrasounds. I went to a urologist at one point where they shoved like a camera up in me to try to see like what was going on. Nobody could figure it out. So for months and months and months, I was in super bad pain. Like my back and my front was killing me. And I'm like, something has to be wrong. Like I'm not making this up. I have a good pain tolerance. And then finally, it got to the point like January or February of that year where I went to the emergency room. This stupid thing. And they decided to do like an internal ultrasound. And guess what they finally found? Internal ultrasound found a 1.3 centimeter kidney stone, which the current ER lady that I saw the other day, she's like, I feel like maybe they measured that wrong because, girl, I don't know how you pass that on your own. Because essentially, 10 years ago, when I had that massive kidney stone, like that's huge for a kidney stone, essentially they said like, oh, you already made it through the hardest part. Like, yeah, because it's been months and months of no answers. And essentially they said it's far enough like through the whole system, whatever that system be, that you can just wait to pass it on your own now. Like, cool. So I did end up passing it, which obviously hurt like a mofo, just like the same pain I'd been dealing with for months before that continued to hurt then too. So I was like, sweet, awesome. So this time around, when I started feeling those similar symptoms, I'm like, oh, shoot, we have another kidney stone coming. And I tried to suck it up for like several days once the pain got really bad, because I'm like, I am not the type of person that wants to go to the doctor. I don't want to deal with the cost of going to the doctor, and I also don't want to waste like their time and resources either. So I kept putting it off until finally like my pain was so bad on Christmas. I'm like, I need to go in because I'm not going to do this again where I'm dealing with months and months and months and months of pain, to find out that it was actually massive. Because at first I was like, this feels like a kidney stone. If it's small enough, they're just going to tell me to pass it on my own. There's no reason to go to the doctor, but I was hurting. I went to urgent care first because I'm like, I'm probably not going to be able to get into my doctor because it was Christmas Day that it was starting to hurt so bad. So I'm like, I'm probably not going to be able to get into my doctor for several days here, and I don't want to be in pain. So I was like, I'll just go to urgent care and see if they can like get a sample, order some labs, yada yada. We can figure it out, being in and out of there in like a day, and not have to deal with this like back and forth like I had the last time. So I went in there, described my pain, gave them a sample. Sample comes back completely normal. So I'm like, awesome, of course. And the doctors, they're basically like, well, there's nothing else that we can order here as far as lab work goes. You can either keep taking pain medicine and check in with your primary care provider and see what they want to do, like what labs they maybe want to order moving forward, or you can go to the ER. So the urgent care I was at was already at the hospital anyways, and I was like, oh, I could go downstairs to that ER. However, ironically enough, a family friend of ours, also around my same age, mother as well, she had a kidney stone about a month beforehand. However, it got serious enough that it blocked her like urethra or whatever, and she went to that ER. They did a crap job taking care of her. They sent her out of there with a port in her arm because like, we don't really know what else we can do for you. Like, we'll try to schedule a surgery, blah, blah, blah. She went septic and had to get rushed to another hospital, like straight from that ER to another one. Then she was in the ICU for several days and almost died. So I was like, that ain't gonna be me, especially like knowing how big my kidney stone last time was. I was like, that's a possibility that could happen to me. So I drove to a different hospital to go to their emergency room and see if maybe they could figure it out, because last time that I did have a big kidney stone, it was the emergency room in like the lab work that they got that did in fact figure it out. So we did a CT scan first. Well, I gave another sample. That came back totally normal, nothing in it, no blood, blah, blah, blah. There's like there's a kidney infection, anything like that. I'm like, sweet. Like, it's kind of to the point where I'm almost like, I want something to show up, obviously, so that we can figure out what's going on and make me feel better, or like next steps. Like, do I need to have like, because the one I had last time was big enough that I could have had surgery, but they were like, oh no, it's too far gone. And so I'm like, okay, I want to figure out like, what do I need to do? What's going on? What do I need to do? What's wrong with me? How do I fix it? How do I make the pain go away? Do I need to schedule something? Do I need to be on certain meds? Is it what I think it is, or is it something else, kind of thing? So they did a CT scan, they did that sample, everything's coming back normal, they're not seeing anything. So I mentioned like my last experience. I'm like, hey, this is what happened last time. This is how they found it. This is how big it was. And the doctor's like, I can't. She's like, I feel like there was a measurement that was wrong. She's like, I can't imagine you having a kidney stone that big and passing it. And I'm like, I don't know, girl. I was like, that's what the last hospital told me. It was at least the size of a pea, because I saw that thing come out. So then they did like an ultrasound too. So over the course of 4 hours, I had all those different tests. Every single one came back normal. They don't see anything. Nothing's wrong. So now I'm just like, awesome. So since nothing showed up, I was just sent home, like, which whatever, they did what they could as far as testing for the most part. The only thing they didn't do was an internal ultrasound like last time. I don't know if I should have pushed for that, but I don't know. I was already there for 4 hours. It was the emergency room. I felt like I'm surviving with this pain. Let's just, deal with it. I can go to my primary care physician. So sent home, told to take meds, like regular meds, and then follow up with my regular doctor. So the pain is still like here, and like my lower left back. On Christmas Day, it was very much lower left back, and even kind of like wrapped around to the front a little bit. But I don't know. I'm still like in my mind, I'm like, this has got to be like a kidney stone. It's like a last time situation where they didn't find it, and we'll just kind of see what happens. But I do need to kind of schedule something with my primary care physician. So the last thing I'm going to do is put on some lip stain here, and then go fix my hair, and then we'll chat a little bit for like 2 more seconds. So here's to hoping that we get some answers here soon, or I start feeling better soon. It was just some mystery. But that medical bill is not going to be fun.